Yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy Pwny Montana, and in this video we are going to be going over one of the best defenses in Madden 22. You will win more games, you will dominate more opponents, and you will have a lot more fun on Madden, especially when you're trying to stop those of us that are running escape artists. It's one of the it's still running rampant. Contains don't work, but in this video we are going to use contains and for this defense. This is an old defense, but it's a good defense, and a lot of people still use it. I myself still use it, but I never put out a thorough description of how I run my defense. We are going to be coming out in 3-3-5 wide. Now, for those of you guys who are new to Madden, you shouldn't be new, but if you are new, I actually had somebody that just started playing Madden Ultimate Team, very low overall, and you know, someone like that might need this help. So this is going to be more of a thorough video. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys are subscribing. Yeah, we go over everything Madden related, tips, tricks, glitches, whatever the case may be, man. And I'll be dropping some mud tips for you guys as well that'll help you guys out ability wise and all that good stuff. Now, if you guys are new and you guys don't have fast enough players to contain certain players, you guys are going to want to come out in 3-3-5 normal, and then you guys are going to be able to audible over to 3-3-5 wide. And the reason why you do that, and yes, I will be talking a lot in this video, the reason why you do that is so that you can put safeties in the linebacker positions. I already took the liberty of putting Scott and whoever 41 is in this formation, but you are not gonna need them specifically. But if you want to have that extra speed coming off the edge, that is what you do. You put safeties there and you go crazy. Now, after that, you are gonna want to set your audibles, because you are going to be audibling over. So mainly we're going to be coming out of Mike Blitz 3. You guys can come out in whatever it is that you guys want, but I'm going to be coming out in Mike Blitz 3 because this is the defense I'm showing you. So I'm not going to do the specific audibling over. I'm just going to come out in nickel 3-3-5 wide because you technically don't need to for how I run this defense. And then you're going to want to turn auto flip defensive play call on. To go over zone drops, that is dependent on what your opponent is running. I think people are silly when they tell you, hey, put your zone drop, set your zone drops here. I personally like to have them between 0 to 10 to 20 to 30. I don't like putting them at 25. I don't like putting them at 15. I like having them where you could potentially click on. So typically, if you're trying to stop like a corner route, you want that corner to be underneath. You don't want them over the top, because you want that player to be able to click on, and for you to be able to click on and like move up and go for the interception. You don't want to come down, because a lot of the times the player moves sluggish. So my zone drops typically are underneath what I want them to do, and I never want them at a 5 for some reason. I always want them either at like, if I'm trying to stop like a short flat route, I want to be underneath it. So I would go at 0 instead of 5. If I want to stop like a corner route, I'd go to 10 instead of 15. If I want to stop like a crosser, I'd go to 20, because at this point in Madden Ultimate Team, or if you're playing regs, you want somebody that is going to be skilled to be guarding those corner routes, because you want their reaction time to be better than someone that's sitting there guarding, someone who's in a deep blue. You want your flats to, to react the proper way. So that's how I run my zone drops. But for this video specifically, we're going to keep it at default. Everything is at default. Okay. So 3-3-5 wide, and the play is Mike Blitz 3. And on the offensive side, let's just call, you know what? Bunch it is. Everybody loves bunch. So let's just showcase how I go about trying to shut down bunch at least. So Mike Blitz 3 is the call, and immediately as soon as I come out, I press the defense, shift my D line, and not a lot of people do this, but I shift my D line to the opposite side of the running back. If it is a running situation or potential running situation, I crash my D line down, and then I spread my linebackers. If it's a passing situation, I crash my D line up. So right now, this is what the defense looks like. Then I like to contain, okay? And I'll go over all these steps very slowly, one by one, and with the proper input controls for those of you guys who are new to the game. So this is what it looks like so far. Now, for personnel reasons, I like to have outside linebackers in my defensive end spots. Why, you might ask, is so that I can put those guys in coverage. The reason why I started running the defense like this is so that we can get as much pressure on those annoying escape artists as possible. Now, if you're not facing anybody with escape, you do not need to shift your D line. You can simply run this defense as is, which is how a lot of people run it. Now, instead of using the middle linebacker here, I user the safety here, because I feel like I can control more of an entire side of the field than the CPU can. I feel like my user is better than any CPU could possibly be. If you don't feel like that, that is on you. You know, there's tip videos on how to user better, and I have a couple. So if you guys want, go watch those videos. But this is gonna be this is who you're gonna user. So you're using the safety on the weak side of the field, and he's typically in this flat. I like to put my defense in cloud flats, and then with these guys here, with the ends that I was initially talking about, the one that's on the defensive end that is closest to the running back, you leave him on his blitzing angle, and then the opposite side, the one that's on the strong side, you take him and you put him in a bluff blitz. What that does, it puts him in a 3-rec, okay? And then the opposite side, you want him in a hard flat, a curl flat. You want him in some type of zone to where you're still sending 4 people, but now you're sending your D tackle, your middle linebacker, who sometimes gets a nice little glitchy animation. You might be able to see it in this video, but typically you will be able to get nice little pressure from that middle linebacker coming out, okay? And then after that, make sure that your user is in a blitzing angle, and your job is simply to guard anything that's going over the top. And you see how the pressure got in. We are sending 4, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to scramble out with a quarterback in this formation than any other formation. It's just extremely difficult, and they have to take a very, very wide angle, which I'll lead into another thing that you guys can do to help that. So again, we're going to shift our D-line to the right. We're going to press. We're going to crash up or down. Take our inside lineman that's on the strong side, put him in a bluff blitz, spread your linebackers, and then take this guy, put him on a zone. You want to cloud flat them if you'd like to, whatever the case may be. If you want to cloud flat them, cloud flat them. If you don't, no one's forcing you to. You can put them on a hook. You can leave that person blitzing, but you will get extra pressure regardless. And then after that, your job is to guard all this area here, okay? With your user, your job is to guard all this area. I've gotten a lot of interceptions from somebody thinking that they can just throw at whatever route is out there, and then you're sitting there guarding everything that you possibly can. Now, I know he's running verticals, but everything looks pretty clamped up. So again, this is how I make it look. I bring this guy down as far as possible, and then I'm using this. So again, you got X on his little vert hook, and right now we're sending 5 people. And when you send 5 people, a lot of the times you get decent pressure. This time we actually got absolutely none, because the blocking running back, if the running back wasn't blocking there, we would have got instant pressure there, which would have been nice. This is the defense that gets me 20+ wins in weekend league every single week. And yes, I stay in a cover 3. I make my adjustments accordingly, and I stay in a cover 3. And it gets very, very frustrating for whoever I play, because they think that a blitz might be coming, and then they get spooked from this guy starting to blitz in. They get spooked, and they're kind of forced to actually try to force a read. And as you can see, that defensive tackle is going to work, and he's getting instant pressure. No, it's not a blitz, because we are only sending 4 people, but at the same time, it is enough for you guys to sit there and get enough pressure to dominate whoever it is that you guys are playing. Now, one reason why I like to stay in this defense specifically and not audible from 3-3-5 normal to 3-3-5 wide, which is what we're in, is because if you guys are playing Madden Ultimate Team, you guys can take the ability under pressure and put it on these outside guys. Under pressure is one of the best abilities in the game. Now, if you have a mobile quarterback, I'm going to put Campbell on here. I'm going to grab the other controller. If you have a mobile quarterback, now Tannehill does not have escape artist, but as soon as he starts to scramble out, you're going to be sitting there and your contain is going to be trying to hawk him down. So the reason why I put the ability under pressure on, and yes, it will cost you 4 ability points, but the reason why you're going to want to do that is because a lot of the times those scrambling out escape artist quarterbacks, they're going to have a tough time scrambling out and making an accurate throw with an under pressure chasing them from behind. Any ability that they potentially had goes out of the window once that under pressure activates. And again, you don't have to leave this guy blitzing. You can take him, man him up while only sending 3 people, and your defense could end up looking like this, where you've manned up the running back, you got your contains out there. It's just a matter of adjusting to exactly what your opponent is doing. As you can see, look, everything is absolutely clamped up, and yes, he would have been able to scramble out, and as soon as he starts to, we click R3 and it sends the closest person, and potentially we would have been able to do what we usually do, and that's stop the defense. This defense has worked for me very, very nicely, and it's frustrated a lot of people, and I think the blitzing middle linebacker is actually what makes it such a better thing, because it confuses whoever it is that you're playing, and they immediately think that you're sending 5 to 6, 7 people, when in reality you're only sending 3. It's a nice little disguise blitz, and then sometimes you can actually come out and then send the actual 5, 6 people and then get decent pressure. Now we ended up getting they got clogged up on that right side there, but you guys understand the gist. You guys get the gist of how the defense is to be ran. Now let me go every single step that I do so that you guys can practice it and actually hop in a game and learn your quick adjustments, because this is going to be needed. But we're going to press our defense, which is triangle and then down, or Y and down if you guys are on the Xbox. This is what it looks like so far. Then you're going to shift your D line to the opposite side of the running back. So left on the directional pad and right on the left stick. Then if it's a running situation, you're going to crash your D line down. Okay? And what that does is, as you can see, these two guys, now they're crashing down. Then after that, you're going to want to take Lowry or your right end or whoever is on the strong side. So whichever side you shifted your defense, you want that same side defensive end to be on a bluff blitz. So you're going to go to your defensive end, press X or A to bring up his assignments, and then move your right stick to the right. And that's going to put him in a 3-rec hook, which that person will start following random routes. I'm talking wheel routes. I'm talking they'll play for you, I promise you. And then what you're going to want to do is contain. Okay? Now this is what the defense looks like so far. If you are in a guaranteed passing situation, you're going to want to take this defensive end here, and you're going to want to put him on some type of zone, okay? So I'm going to put him on a curl flat. So we're going to press X or A if you guys are on the Xbox, and I'm going to put him in a curl flat. Last but not least, you're going to want to shade up and shade down and then shade up. You're going to always want to shade up at some point, because you can get beat over the top. And it gets very, very annoying, especially when you got all this coverage out there on the field, all to get beat by some random person that has, you know, that your defensive back is just not being able to keep up with a 99 speed Randy Moss type of player. That is pretty much the defense. That is the general base of how I have been running my defense, and it's gotten me 20 plus wins every single week in league since I've started running this. I like to keep my user in a blitzing angle, and then once that happens, we get nice little pressure. We end up sending 6 people there, but you know, again, you want to disguise things so that eventually you do send enough pressure to make your opponent make a mistake. That's pretty much the gist of this defense, is for something like that to happen. Again, everything is clamped up, and yes, it's verticals. You might be able to throw it to that tight end, but that's one of the reasons why I actually move the other side safety down, and everything is kind of compact and compressed. This is the defense. There's nothing else to it. It's very, very simple. All you're doing is running a cover 3 shell while potentially trying to create the instance to where your opponent makes a big mistake. Now, hopefully you end up catching your interceptions, but it is Madden 22, and it does get frustrating when you guys are playing this game. This is my defense. This is the defense I am running. I have not seen anybody else running 3-5 wide like I do, especially the shifting the line to the opposite side, because, you know, remember, you don't even have to crash to the same side that I say. You can crash whichever side you want. You can crash right, you can crash left. Whichever side generates more pressure for you, that's what you guys are going to want to do. Hopefully this video helps you guys that are struggling on defense, especially against escape artists, because they suck. Well, they don't suck, but you know what I mean. My name is Pwny Montana. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. Hopefully it helps those that are struggling with defense out a little bit. This is the defense that I am running. This is my personal defense, and I'm putting it out there for those of you guys that are struggling. My name is Pwny Montana. Hopefully this video, guys, tongue twister, I've spoken a lot. Hopefully this video helps. Subscribe if you guys are new. Like the video. You guys already know the whole deal, man, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, 2 fingers, deuces.